in charge, they only had one hearing on Afghanistan and conducted no transcribed interviews. In fact, really had no investigation on such a serious matter. Is there any further discussion on the report? Mr. Wilson is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mike McAuliffe, for your courageous leadership to uphold the constitutional duties of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the Secretary of State, which has been pending for 4 months since May. Secretary Blinken has sadly demonstrated a complete and utter disregard for 4 months since May for the legitimate oversight of this committee and, more significantly, the authorities of the Constitution and the laws of our state and nation. There is clear and irrefutable authority to subpoena, and the Secretary's partisan disregard for 4 months is a continuation of the Biden-Harris administration plan to hide the truth from the American people. As an attorney myself, it is clear that the Secretary is criminally in violation of 2 U.S.C. Section 192. This subpoena was issued in May. Had the date or time been an issue, it could have been easily possible to accommodate schedules as indicated by Chairman McCall. Instead, the Secretary chose to engage in partisan obfuscation for 4 months to the detriment of the American people who deserve a government that is accountable to its constitutional checks and balances. As a former journalist myself, I am particularly disappointed that corporate media has, for 4 months, has failed to report or support accountability, which should be expected in a democracy. Blinken failures led to 13 Americans murdered at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan and 3 Georgia Army reservists murdered January 28th this year, with dozens permanently injured of the Georgia unit suffering traumatic brain injury. Surrender in Afghanistan, with the Afghanistan becoming a safe haven for terrorists, has opened the borders for every American family to be at risk of attack, as indicated by the FBI, of an imminent attack, with hundreds of terrorist murderers freely crossing the border, as I saw 3 years ago at Del Rio, Texas. Additionally, and I appreciate very much the ranking member, there has been an alternative, and that is that President Donald Trump, the agreements that he reached at Doha were conditions-based, and we know General Milley, we know General McKenzie were here and indicated that none of the conditions were met. It was actually irresponsible of the Biden-Harris administration not to see that the conditions were not met. And so there should have been, as President Donald Trump has indicated, that he personally would have left a contingent of American military, of our NATO military, our 53 allies that were assisting in the effort, and he would have never left Bagram Air Base to be held and put in a position to benefit terrorism worldwide. Above all else, it's disappointing the Secretary's violation of his oath of office by failing to adhere to the Constitution, let alone preservation, protection, and defense of our nation's founding values. And with that, I urge a yes vote. I yield back.
Gentleman yields. Any